Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's reading vlog. We are about to get so cozy. We're going to be doing a fall themed reading vlog, which is honestly my favorite to film because I love fall season, I love cozy season, I love spooky season. We're in peak fall right now, so it's the perfect time to get cozy with some fall books. Definition of gaslighting. I would also be very enamored, but also I would be scared. And she just keeps falling down. Why do I love them? Better than pouring rain and watching Twilight? Nothing. I didn't even know you were funny. Is it so camp? If you didn't watch my previous video, here are some of the books that are on my radar for the month of October that we're going to be choosing from for today's video. I'm very excited about it because we have such good options over here. The first book that we're reading in this video actually started last night that I'm very excited about. It's been on my radar for a really long time, and for some reason it gives me fall vibes. Like, I feel like I should be reading it in the fall season. I don't know why, and that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This one's like a sci-fi suspense type of novel. I've never read anything like it, so that's why I'm really excited about it, to see how I feel. I'm not one that loves sci-fi. I've said this before, but all the other sci-fi books I've read I have not enjoyed, so I definitely want to dip my toe back into the genre, see if I can find one in this specific genre that I'll like. This one is about a father who's very comfortable with his family and his life. He has a wife, he has a son, he has a comfortable home and a comfortable job, everything like that. But one day he gets kidnapped, knocked out, and wakes up in this alternate timeline, alternate universe of the life he could have lived if he did not become comfortable with his family and choose that path in his life. And the big question of this one, it says it on the back, is are you happy with your life? So it basically shows you the other paths that you can take or you could have taken and what your life could have looked like, and to see if you've made a mistake in the choices that you've made along the way. And it's so crazy because I think this is gonna make my brain turn a little bit, because I always think about like the choices I've made up until the point I'm at right now has brought me right here, and if I made any other different choices I could be in a totally different life. I could not even be doing YouTube. So I feel like this is gonna be an interesting read. I'm very excited to see like how it's portrayed in this book. So not very far in at all. I didn't read too much, so we're gonna get cozy today. We're gonna read this book first. I have some other books on my mind from my TBR that I want to read in this video, and I'm so excited. It's gonna be so cozy, very fall themed. So grab a fall book, grab a cozy drink, get a cozy blanket. We're gonna light a candle, we're gonna make a matcha, and we're gonna read our first fall book, which is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. The book. Hold on. Okay. Hello. Oh, my battery's gonna die. Give me a second. Okay, let's try this again. It is the same. Ow! I just hit my knee. Okay, it's the same day. It's just a few hours later. I need to find my spot in this because I was running some errands and I was listening to the audiobook, and while I was around the house listening to the audiobook as well, which I'm enjoying. I do like the way that it is voice. Like, I'm enjoying the audiobook. I think I got to chapter 7. The chapters are pretty long, but while I'm listening to it I don't notice that, obviously, but when I'm reading I definitely would have noticed how long the chapters are. Like, one of them was like over an hour listening to, but with like a little faster speed it didn't feel that long. Before I find my page though, on page 67 there was a quote that I liked because it's kind of like the meaning of the story and kind of like what the concept is about, and it says, "It's like we get so set in our ways, so entrenched in those grooves, we stop seeing our loved ones for who they are. But tonight, right now, I see you again, like the first time we met, when the sound of your voice and your smell was this new country." I'm rambling now. And it's so interesting, this book, because it gives you the time, like, we know the first him with his family and everything. We also now know him in this other universe when he made different choices, and it's so interesting. It's reminding me a lot of Severance, which I never finished the second season, but like the concept of it feels very similar. And it's so interesting because in this one, he has no memory of his other life, but he has a life in this one, and it's reminding me of that concept a lot. And there was another quote too while I was listening to it that I hope I can find, which I guess I'll figure it out, but I wanted to talk about it because he's kind of getting scientific on us right now, because our main character is kind of like a scientist and now he's trying to like put the pieces together, and something tragic happened while I was in the car and I was like no way. Anyway, let me try to find where I'm at because these chapters are so long I don't even know if I'll be able to. I found it. I'm on page 132. I think the audiobook says I'm about 40% of the way through. 41%, which is honestly huge because I was only 30 pages in before. So going through it pretty quick. And he basically found some like writing from like his other self that he's trying to figure out more about right now. And it says, what if our world line is just one of an infinite number of world lines, some only slightly altered from the life we know, others drastically different? And many world interpretation basically says that all these possible realities exist, that everything which has a probability of happening is happening, everything that have occurred in our past did occur, only in another universe. And what if we actually inhabit the multiverse, but our brains have evolved in such a way as to equip us with a firewall that limits what we perceive to a single universe, one world line? So I think it's very, very interesting, and the way it's making me think about this book, it's like other choices I personally could have made in my life that wouldn't make me where I am today really begs the question, like, are you happy with your life? It's making me think, like, I am very happy with my life. I'm glad I'm this version of myself and what I'm doing right now, because imagining how he is in the life that he's now in, he's like, doesn't see his wife, doesn't have a kid and everything like that, and I'm like, thank God I'm in this life with Chris. Like, it's making me think about my own life, if that makes sense, and I guess it's kind of what the book is trying to do, and it's definitely working for me personally, and I'm so interested to see how he's gonna figure it out and which universe, I guess maybe does he choose one at the end of it. I don't even know what's gonna happen. I think that's what's keeping me going, because the suspense is really there, especially with him not having the memory. We're kind of like figuring it out with him, even though we know the other timeline of his life. Like, there's so many questions, and I'm really enjoying that. I think it's very like thought-provoking, and I think that's fun. That's how it's going right now. I'm enjoying it. I did realize when I was reading before I left and started listening to the audiobook, it was a bit boring while reading it. I don't really know why. Nothing really was happening, but I guess when I was listening to the audiobook, like, more things were happening as the story was progressing. So I'm interested now to get back into it reading wise and not audiobook, to see if I get as invested as I am with the audiobook, if that makes sense. So I think I'm gonna read a little on the physical copy and then possibly listen to the audiobook, but I'm having a good time right now. I'm very interested, I'm kind of invested, and I'm excited to see how this one ends, because there's a lot kind of going on, a lot he needs to figure out. Definitely want to get halfway today. If we get further than that, no complaints here. That would be amazing, but I'm gonna get back into it, and I'll see you in a little. Wait, is this? I wish this was a show, because Chris would love this. It's on Apple TV. Wait, I'm so excited. Because I showed him all the books that were on my physical TBR for October, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read you all of these summaries, and you have to pick which one you want me to read, and he chose this one. Just like by the summary, I was like, he'd probably enjoy this book, so maybe one day I can make him read it, but I'm like reading it and getting into it, and I think he would absolutely love this show. Let me know if you watched it and also read the book and if it's good, because I feel like he would love this. Just like the whole multiverse thing, I feel like that's interesting. And like the whole mystery of it all. Anyway, I feel like he'd enjoy it. I didn't expect that, clearly, with my mouth dropping, my jaw dropping. What? Oh my god. I guess since I don't read books like this, sorry, I have another update within the past like 10 minutes. I just like don't know what to expect. And I feel like maybe if you read a lot of sci-fi or suspense type of books like this, you probably know what's coming, I guess. I don't know, because you know when you don't read thrillers or mysteries for a really long time, or just like in general, the plot twist will get you like that much better, because if you read them back to back, like so many mysteries and thrillers, so like you're kind of more onto the author, and like you can kind of figure it out and put the pieces together. And that's how I feel about this right now, because I'm not expecting all these things to happen, and they're taking me by surprise, like 2 things back to back, and I'm like, what? Everyone, I think it's the next day, possibly. I don't really remember the last time we talked. I feel like that was yesterday. But I finished Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I started our next book, which you guys saw which one it was. This was honestly the perfect book to pick up at this time, because it takes place, like the beginning of this book is the beginning of October, and I read this the beginning of October, and it like goes through the month or whatever. It was so good, and it made me just like question so many things in my head as I was reading this, and the suspense, the second half of the book picked up so much, because he's trying to get back to his original life, but like it's like, is he gonna be able to do that? I don't want to say I liked this more than I expected, because I went into it not having too many expectations, but the suspense and thriller aspect, the second half of the book was so good. I couldn't stop listening to it and reading it. Like, I need to know what was gonna happen, how it was gonna end. Like, is he gonna find his original like life path that he was on in the beginning of the book? It was really cool seeing the scientific aspect of it and seeing the other worlds and paths that every choice that you make can like bring you on, and not just him in general, like the path that his character takes, but also the world. Like so many different settings and things that can happen like environmentally or whatever to the world just from like one little choice, which I guess it's just like a normal thing to think about, the multiverse of everything, but reading about it was really, really cool. And as the story went on, I wasn't really connected in the beginning to him or what was really happening, but seeing him understand the comfort of his life, how much that actually meant to him, it was just like really entertaining and really, really good, and I really liked following along with that because like again, the suspense was just like, it was really there kind of like the whole second half of the book, and just the mystery aspect of how is he going to get back to his original life. There's so many other multiverses and other alternate universes. Even in the book it says like one little speck of sand on the whole entire beach is what he's trying to get back to, which is just so interesting to think about. Again, this book really makes you think, and it was making me think, and I really enjoyed that part of it. And like I said in the beginning, not really connecting to it, but I think there was this like emotional fear that not only he had, but I also felt that he wouldn't ever reunite with his family again. And I was just like emotionally invested in that aspect because not only do you get the mystery and thriller aspect of it, but like there's a little romance, that emotional aspect of it I definitely connected to eventually, and I was like, I was on the edge of my seat with him, and it was so thrilling. And I just think it was a very interesting read. I watched the trailer for the show, or is it a show or a movie? I don't remember. But I watched the trailer for it on YouTube yesterday, 2 days ago, I don't really remember, and it looked really good. I think it's definitely the most unique read I've read, so if you have any other recommendations kind of like this, I would definitely be interested in it. I want to read Recursion by him. I heard that one's really good, so that's now on my radar, but I'm happy that I read this and gave it a chance because like I said, I don't really read this genre, but now I have a book in the sci-fi genre that I did enjoy. And it's just so crazy to think about all the other lives we could have lived, but like this is the one we're in right now, and like what is the other version of me doing right now, and like what world are they living in? But like this is the one I'm in right now. Then, like you guys saw, I started Twilight, which is so crazy because this is such a nostalgic series for so many people. It's been around for so long. I think this book came out like 2 decades ago, which is absolutely crazy. I did read it, I believe, for the first time in like 4th grade. I was so young, and I watched the first movie, but that's it. I don't really remember anything about it except for like little key details or like memes I see on the internet because it's such a big series. But I said in one of my like recent videos from September or August or something that I wanted to read a series that people are a part of like the community, and whether it was like this or Harry Potter or Hunger Games or whatever, but I felt like Twilight was a good one for the fall season, and I want to watch the movies as I read these too. So we're starting Twilight in this one. We're not gonna read the whole series in this video, but we're gonna read the first one. All I know about the series is Bella, main character, they're in high school in this book at least, and Edward's the vampire and Jacob is the wolf. So far where I am in this, I have not gotten to meeting Jacob at all. We've only met Edward, and he's suspicious because she has no idea he's a vampire, but obviously I do, and if you read the back of it, we all know he's the vampire. But I feel like it's gonna be one of those books that's pretty cringy. I don't know, I'm just getting those vibes like right off the bat. So far my only first impressions of Bella is she's very whiny. She just moved to, which is funny like describing the summary of this book when so many people already know everything about it, but just in case anyone out there doesn't and hasn't read or watched this, she just moved to live with her dad in the town of Forks, which always raining. That's like the main thing she keeps saying is how much it's raining, and she moved out of her mom's house. She's now living with her father and going to this brand new school, and you know, she's like the new kid there, and that's kind of it. That's all we've really gotten so far. She's had a few days at school, she's met a few friends, but she's also seen Edward and his siblings and gotten kind of like a backstory, a very, very vague one of him and his siblings and cousins or whatever it is, but obviously we know they're vampires because she keeps saying these like descriptions about him, and I'm like, clearly he's not like everyone else. But I wonder how far I'm in because I only actually listened to the beginning of it when I was on my walk this morning, so I actually have no idea what page I got to. Okay, I got 45 pages in, so not very far at all, but this is gonna be our next book to read. I am gonna watch the movie after reading this one. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be like in the know of all of the Twilight memes. I'm also wondering like what team am I gonna be on, because everyone I feel like is team Edward, but when the movies were out, I like vividly remember it being a very like split, like you were team Edward or Jacob. But like now I feel like everyone's team Edward. I'm not really sure honestly at all. I have a weird feeling I'm gonna be team Jacob just because young Taylor Lautner, like I loved him. I don't know, I'm glad that they have the movies and I know the cast, so it's easy for me to like picture this and like picture the world. So I'm gonna listen and read to this. I've been really into audiobooks right now, so I'm doing both on and off. I'll come back with further updates and reactions. Like I said, we haven't met Jacob yet. I don't really know when he shows up. I think he's like the father's friend's son. We do know of the father's friend from what I remember in the movie. That's kind of what it is. I don't really know. It's very, very like blurry in my head because I was literally what? How old are you in 4th grade? What year was my, how old was I in 4th grade? 4th graders are typically 9 to 10 years old. So like 2009-ish is when I have any memory of this book. That was a long time ago. That's actually so crazy how long ago that was. Anyway, I'm gonna go read and continue listening to this. I will come back, like I said, further updates, further opinions. I'll let you know when I meet Jacob, and we'll see how it goes. Not him running over to her with his vampire speed and putting a dent in the car and saving her from the car crash. And now she thinks she's going crazy. But like, no high schooler can do that. No human can do that. I think it's funny going into it just like knowing what I know. And like these scenes are kind of coming back to me. Like I remember that in the movie very vaguely. But like it's just so outlandish, I guess. I don't know. The van should have smashed my legs, but you were holding it up. And he says, you think I lifted a van off you? The definition of gaslighting. Why am I thinking this is funny? I don't know why I'm laughing at this, but it's making me laugh. I don't know. It's been a few hours. I've been listening to the audiobook. I went on a long walk while listening, and then I read a bit more. I'm about 164 pages in now. I think I'm like 40% of the way through. And we've met the main characters that I know of. She wasn't as surprised finding out that vampires were real as you would expect someone to be. But also, Edward like protecting her, like why do I love it? Like he like knew she was in danger. He was like out listening to everyone around's thoughts, trying to find her, saving her. He told her get in the car, and she did because she trusts him. And you know what? Usually I'd be like, why is she so enamored with him so early on? But like, girl, I get it. Like he's like breaking cars and lifting cars and running really fast. Like I would also be very enamored, but also I would be scared. And she's not scared. She feels protective, which again, as she should, but like she's a little too trusting for me. But yeah, Edward's like very protective over her. He like is kind of like funny to her. I didn't know he was like a funny character. For some reason in my head, they're all like very bland to me, but like he's kind of like cracking jokes. And then we also met Jacob. He's 15 in this book. Had no idea. I know they're in high school, but like he's younger. They like know each other from back in the day and everything. And he was like sharing with her this like lore and like legends about the place, which like made her go home and like look up vampires. And again, she wasn't as like concerned about it as I expected her to be. Like she's kind of just like going with the flow now. And now she just knows that everything is kind of real. Other than that, I'm not going to spoil anything else in the book. That's kind of like the bare bones of what's happening. We have Edward and Bella hanging out more. She now knows what's going on. I wonder where the story's going to go now. Also, who's Mike? Who the hell is Mike? This guy was like trying to take her on dates. He wants to go to the dance with her. Was there a Mike in the movie? Who the hell is Mike? I'm not gonna be spoiling anything else I read about. I feel like I didn't spoil too much. It's basically the bare bones of like Twilight that I feel like everyone knows about. But yeah, Edward keeps protecting her, but he keeps saying to her, like, he'll hang out with her, but he'll be like, you need to stay away from me. He's like, I'm so dangerous. And then he's like also picking her up and protecting her. So it's like, she's confused. It's very back and forth. And then also one last thing about what I keep reading, why does Bella keep falling? Like she has fallen down so many times. She even told Edward that she's just like very clumsy and she just keeps falling down. Is she not looking in front of her? Like she has tripped and fell so many times so far in this book, and I'm like, why is that one of her personality traits? Anyway, I'm enjoying it, honestly. I feel like the nostalgia that everyone feels for this book I can understand while reading this, because it's not like good in any sense. Like I'm not like obsessed with the story, but I feel like for nostalgic reasons and the movie and the era that it's from, I can understand why people like reread this every year, and it's like one of those like comfort things. That's where I'm at right now. I'm excited to see where the story goes now, because I feel like Jacob has to become a bigger part of it, or at least Bella has to get to know the vampire world a bit more. I'm enjoying listening to it, honestly. I do wish we got other point of views. I think someone said that they're all on her point of view, but I think there's like another book that came out after the series in Edward's point of view, maybe? Sorry, I keep looking out my window. There's someone walking their dog, and it's a big husky, and I'm like, okay, hi Jacob. He's come to hang out with me. He knows I'm reading this book. I'm gonna keep reading tonight and listening to it. Honestly, perfect vibes for fall. Definitely perfect vibes, and people kept saying like this one for fall, definitely. And I'm feeling that for sure, especially October with the vampires and the werewolves. It makes sense. Why do I love them? I don't know why, like, going into this, I wasn't really thinking of the romance aspect of this book, but, like, now that it's happening, I kind of love him. Like, he knows he's dangerous, but he doesn't want her to be afraid of him, and he's like showing her his full self, and like doesn't want her to be afraid, wants her to see him for like who he is as, you know, vampire and all. But I don't know, he's being kind of vulnerable right now. And why do I like him? I'm like well over halfway right now, a little bit over halfway, and I'm still enjoying it. The plot hasn't really, like, not much has happened. I thought it was gonna be more plot driven than it really is. I feel like we're just getting to know Edward and their like relationship, and like their connection is what we've been really focusing on, because obviously Bella needs to know more about him. I feel like for the actual plot, not much is really going on, and I'm hoping that picks up. Like, I want some excitement. I want something crazy to happen. And I know there's like a lot of books in the series, or like there's a few other ones, so I'm sure the plot gets a little crazy at some point, but I want like the whole Jacob side of it to come back in. He's only been in like 2 scenes in the book, and you can tell the tension between him and Edward, and like that like whole family divide and dynamic, because they're enemies. But yeah, I want something crazy to happen. Right now we're just like kind of in like the romance part of it and their connection, which, like I said, kind of loving. I don't know, especially like going towards the end of the book. I feel like this should be fun and entertaining and fast-paced, because we've already established all this. I'm having a good time right now, so I'm excited to finish this one too and watch the movie, because I want to see in comparison to the book how much has changed and how much is different, because I feel like Jacob is a more prevalent character in the movies, just from like what I remember in the first one in comparison to like what I'm reading about. Like I said, he's only been in 2 scenes, so like I feel like there should be more. So I'm interested to see how the movie is in comparison. All that being said, I'm gonna go back into it. I'm enjoying it, and they're having a moment right now. They're playing baseball right now, and I'm like, what does this have to do with the plot? Why are we listening to vampires play baseball? I'm glad they're having fun though, but that's where I'm at. I think we're about to meet the evil vampires. Now the baseball game makes more sense. I do remember this in the movie, them playing baseball, but I forgot that there's another like whole section to this. Okay guys, it is now the next day. I finished Twilight yesterday. I listened to majority of it, but I also read the last like at least 30% of it, because it was so dramatic that I couldn't put it down. Like the drama of it all, I was eating it up. And like the thing is, I keep forgetting, like she's 17. She's in high school, she's supposed to be in school. Like she has a prom that's coming up and all these things, and she's just like getting involved with vampires. And what's so crazy to me is she's so young, but she's like so quick to like not be worried about there's like vampires out there. Like she learns the legend and the lore and the fact that Edward's vampire, family of vampires, and she's just down with it. Honestly, I'm happy for her, because she got involved really quickly and had no fears. Honestly, not one fear. She just trusted Edward right off the bat. I did not end up watching the movie after this. I think I'm gonna watch it today, because I woke up and I was gonna go walk over to get a drink and read my book like outside today in like the fall weather, but I woke up and it was pouring out, and I was like, do you know what's better than pouring rain and watching Twilight? Nothing. Literally nothing. Because in Forks, as we know, it rains all the time. I think I'm gonna throw on Twilight while I read our next read. But before I get into that, let's talk about Twilight, my rating and everything. It's so interesting because I wonder what I would have rated this book if I didn't read it like having like the knowledge of how big it is and the whole community and the world of Twilight, and having like the nostalgic feel that everyone talks about, and people are like preparing me that it's gonna be a bit cringy, but like it's just like one of those reads that sticks with people, especially just because of like the whole universe of Twilight. So I wonder what my thought process would be if I read this like when it came out, if I was like older when it came out, obviously. But the whole idea of this book is so interesting to me. I remember in the movie them playing baseball, but I forgot like what happens like after that and like the whole end of the book. Like I don't remember what happens in the movie in comparison to what I just read. So I didn't really know what was gonna happen at the end of the book. That's why I said the drama of it all was really getting to me. I needed to know what was gonna happen. So I did like the end of this. I feel like the beginning was a bit slow personally. We were kind of just like getting to know obviously Bella in this new town, this new small town she moved to, and going to a new school. It was very slow pacing, learning all of that, and also her meeting Edward, learning all about him. I feel like took up majority of the book. That's not to say I didn't enjoy that part, because I did enjoy getting to know Edward, because I'm like picturing the movie in my head and I really enjoyed that. And I actually did really like them together. I don't know, it's so weird because she's so young and I'm like, girl, what are we getting ourselves into right now? But also, I was kind of eating it up. Like Edward's like ironically really funny in this, and like things he would say and like things he would joke about, I'm like, I didn't know you were funny. And also Bella in this one, I feel like had more personality than what I remember from the movies, and I'm like, I don't remember these characters, but I had a good time, I guess. I don't think it's like a favorite book of mine. I'm also not itching to read the second one because the way this one ended, I feel like I'm definitely in the back of my mind wondering what happens next, but I'm not like running to the second one. I think next week I'll probably start listening to it and reading it because people are saying that the second book is their favorite. So like I'm now excited to know like what happens in them, because after the first book and the first movie, I have literally no idea what happens. The only thing I know is like some big plot points later in the seasons, like I said. So I'm excited about that. I would say my like expectations going into this, I thought it was gonna read a lot younger than it really did. I thought it was gonna be very, very YA. I feel like this had like a little bit of depth to it and all that drama, and I didn't expect that. So I enjoyed it, honestly, I did. The final book for the video, I'm so excited about. I've been nonstop talking about this book since I bought it. And like in my head, I've been thinking about it for so long because I see it at Barnes & Noble all the time. And that is none other than Matchmaking for Psychopaths. Last night we were watching the Yankee game and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood to start this. So I sat there, I read the prologue, and I read the first chapter of this book. I love, love, love the cover of this for some reason. The artwork and the colors on the black cover does something to my brain. Like I just really, really like it. So started it last night, not very far in at all. That's why I wanted to like walk around, sit outside, read the book. But since it's a gloomy day, we're gonna chill in here and read, and then maybe later we'll go outside. All I know so far about this one is we're following Lexi, who's our main character. It's very ominous, the prologue. We get like her past with her mom, but we don't get a lot of like answers. Like there's so many questions that I need to know, and I hope we discuss and get into. On her wedding day, something shows up at the door and it's like creepy. And then we kind of flash back a few weeks later and something happens in the first chapter where like even more questions are like brought up in my head, and I'm like, how are we getting from where we're at 4 weeks ago to like where we were at in the prologue? Like I just like don't know how we're gonna get to like see the full picture. Essentially from the summary, we haven't gotten to this yet from what I've read, but she matchmakes psychopaths, obviously. I don't know how she gets into this profession. We haven't really talked about her profession, so I'm not really sure, but she gets involved with one of them, and I think she befriends another one. So like, I don't know. That's really all I know, actually. She gets involved with psychopaths. She gets targeted, weird things start happening, and I don't know if this is gonna be more leaning towards like a comedic thriller situation or if it's going to be more darker. I don't know where this book's going to go. I haven't seen anyone else read it. For some reason, I've been so intrigued by it, and I felt like I had to read it in October, so that's why we're reading it next. And that's all I have right now. I'm gonna get back into it. So far, the writing style is like really fast paced, so I feel like this could be really bingeable. Also, I forgot to say, Twilight was really bingeable too. I don't know if it's because I wanted to see like if it was similar to what I remember from the movie. Very bingeable book. So both of these are. What did we read first in this video? Oh, Dark Matter, also a bingeable book. So all these are pretty bingeable for October, and also very fitting for fall. I will come back with further opinions. I'm gonna throw Twilight on the TV. We're gonna have a very cozy fall morning. It's morning time. And I will see you later when I have further opinions and thoughts. I'm excited about this one. For some reason in my head, I have high expectations because I've been thinking about it for so long, but I've also don't have the highest of expectations of how the story's gonna go. If that makes any sense, I don't know. I'm gonna go read, and I will see you in a little. Guys, they casted this perfectly. It's even better than how I picture in my head, because I can't picture things up here. This is perfect. I love that she falls in the movie too, and it's not just the books that she's like falling all the time and so uncoordinated. Hello guys, it is now the next day. Like you guys saw, I watched Twilight yesterday while I was reading my book, and the movie honestly made me more excited to not only watch the next one and made me want to watch the next one, but also read the next one. So I think next week I'm gonna start listening to it, and I'm really excited about it because again, I don't really know what's gonna happen in the next part of the series. And the movie, like the only way I can describe it is it's so camp. And the scene where Edward is showing Bella like all of his vampire things, like his skin and his speed, like it was just so like, I don't know. But the thing is, like always, the books have more details, more context, and more conversations and everything. So I feel like the movie went really fast, like from scene to scene. Like already we were at the baseball scene and everything like that. And I feel like in the book, the pacing was a bit slower and you got like into the more details of it all, which I feel like usually happens in a book anyway. So I don't know which one I liked more. I will say the movie only like slightly, because picturing things in my head, like I always say, is hard. So seeing it like come to life in the movie was just like incredible after reading the book. And it's just so campy, like there's no other way to describe it. The drama and the acting and the way they show the vampires and everything, like Jasper's face, I just can't. It was just, yeah, it was definitely an experience. I'm excited for the next one. It's not going to be in this video, but it'll be in some other video throughout the month, and I'm excited to listen to the next one, so I can't wait to see what happens. Let's get into this. That's like my final talk of Twilight for this video. I think I'm on chapter 9 right now. I started listening to it on my walk this morning. I didn't read as much yesterday as I wanted to. I'm almost 100 pages in, but it's a pretty short, well, it's not a short book, but it's going pretty fast, so I feel like I can definitely like, if I'm listening to it, 'cause I'm gonna go for a walk now and reading it, I could get pretty close to the end today. It's very fast paced, like it's very like surface level of a read. I feel like we're not really getting very deep into it, but I'm definitely like intrigued by what we're learning about. I thought this was gonna be more thriller-esque because we learned that her profession is matchmaking psychopaths, but more in like the literal sense. Like she's part of this like matchmaking company that this woman came up with, and there's different people that work underneath the company for like different matchmaking type of people, but her specific position is to matchmake people that fill out the questionnaire and are like psychopaths and have those mentalities. So it's like quite literally she's doing that. In my head when I was going into this book, I thought it was like her own venture, that she's like finding these psychopaths and like putting them together. I thought it would be more like thriller-esque like that, but she's literally part of a company that does this, and it's more of like a literal sense. I thought it was gonna be more like crazy, but it's more so just following her after something big happens at the beginning of the book and seeing how she's gonna like either mend it or get involved with her clients. So that's kind of where I'm at now. She's met 2 of her new clients. One, I think they're gonna have this sort of friendship because we learn about her childhood and growing up. She's always like craved female friendship and she's never had that, so I think she's gonna latch on to this new girl. And then also we met this guy, and there's like a weird situation going on over there, and I think like a trope is gonna happen in this book, which I'm very interested in. So I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen now that we've met these 2 characters that are now her clients, and see like maybe like the mystery thriller-esque will come from this, because you can't really tell like what they're gonna do, obviously, what their motives are. And also what our main character's motives are. Like I feel like there's more to her that we haven't found out about. That's what I feel like. It's very surface level. Like I want to know more, I want to go deeper, and there's a lot of questions still unanswered. There's more details that like I need to know to really understand what's going on with her. It's definitely different than what I expected going into it, but like I'm not mad about it. And I think I'm just gonna go on my walk, go grab a matcha, listen to a bit more, and see what happens, because I feel like now that we have like the basis of the summary of the story, I don't know where it's gonna go now, so that's definitely intriguing me. So I'm gonna leave my book here. I think I'm just gonna listen to it on my walk. I got it on Audible. I used my last credit on this book, so I'm out of Spotify hours. I have no more Audible credits. I've really been utilizing all of my audiobook, what's it called, platforms, I guess you could say. It's a beautiful fall day. It's like 60 degrees outside. It's gonna be a crisp air, a beautiful walk. We're gonna get a good old matcha, and we're gonna have a fun day, a fun fall day. I will see you when I'm back. Let's get more into this book and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it gets crazy. Like that's what I'm here for. Like I want this to get crazy. So I will see you in a little. everyone, I finished Matchmaking for Psychopaths. I didn't give too many updates while reading this towards the end because I couldn't really stop listening to the audiobook, and I feel like so much was getting revealed. There wasn't much you can really say in a mystery without it being spoilery, so I just thought we should wait for my final thoughts. It's interesting because there's like a genre mix going on. The first half, we're really just like kind of getting to know our main character and the romance in her life and these new people and clients that are getting entangled into it. We don't really get into the mystery of it all until like closer to halfway, and definitely the second half of the book it picks up like the thrilling aspect of it all, and I think that's where I got hooked. Like the audiobook, I couldn't like stop listening. I just kept playing it with whatever I was doing because I wanted to know what was happening, because you kind of get like little pieces of things, and there's so many different characters that get like brought into the storyline that you're like so many suspects, and you're like trying to put the pieces together as you do with a mystery. And I think just because I haven't read a mystery in so long, and like this year I haven't really touched mysteries too much, that ending really got me. I didn't expect that to be the ending. There's some things that are predictable in here, like I definitely picked up on some things. It's like very much in your face, but I just haven't really read not only a mystery in a while, but like a book like this kind of at all. Our main character is definitely one of those that, you know, when they make decisions that are so dumb and you're just like, why would you do that? Like, why are you acting like that? But as we got to know her past and her upbringing and her parents and her relationship and everything, it made more sense, I guess, her personality and everything like that. But it's not one of those where you connect to the character too much that you're like rooting for them in any sense. Like I definitely wasn't really rooting for her in the story. I think I was just more confused in most aspects. It's also one of those books where like reading it in between books, like it's fast-paced, it's bingeable, kind of has you on the edge of your seat to find out the ending and what's happening and what role all these characters play in the actual story. And I think it's very interesting, her profession, like Matchmaking Psychopaths is literally just her job title, and I think that's definitely an interesting aspect because then she has these types of people in her life, and it's like you can't trust what they're doing and saying, but she's getting really close to some of them, so I thought that was pretty interesting. It's definitely outlandish, and like I said, some parts are predictable, but again, in between books, I think it would be a good book to pick up, maybe in the spooky season. For some reason, I feel like reading this during like Valentine's Day because the romance, psychopath genre mix of it all. I don't know why, I feel like reading it during that season could be good, but also spooky season, obviously, it's a mystery thriller. It'll have you kind of on the edge of your seat, and I've never really read a book like this. It was interesting. It's not one that I'll be remembering, not a very memorable read for me, but I'm happy I picked it up because I've been eyeing it down and talking about it so much, and it's not at all what I was expecting it would be. I don't know. If you're intrigued by it, I would definitely pick it up. It was a bingeable read, so that's all I have to say on that one. I am not only on a roll of reading, like I'm so excited to pick up my next book. I need to keep this ball rolling. I don't want any slumps in my near future because I'm so happy that we're in fall reading time. I think the 3 books I've read in this video are perfect for fall season. I can't wait to read and listen to and watch the second in the Twilight series. I can't wait to pick up my next read. I think I'm gonna read a dark academia book. So like I am in the thick of the fall reading and I'm loving it. So let me know if you've read any of these books, if you're gonna read any of them, what your favorite in the Twilight series is, and that's all I have for today's video. Thank you for coming along with me fall reading. I am definitely in the cozy season right now. I'm so excited to pick up my next read, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you did, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Bye!